But I wanted to give you some of these things, because the other thing I want to tell you is, we're here for you. We're on the boat. Apparently it's a ship for some of the people that I put. I'm on a boat and they're correcting me. I feel like I need to do Periscope therapy right now. I was so laughing right there. I know, I was just referencing a song. It's popular culture. We're here for you, and so come and talk to us. Aaron is here, Adventure Support. A lot of people don't notice is that when you're part of the 100-Day Adventure, there's a separate website called adventuresupport.community. If you go to that, every Periscope that's about social media is archived there. So even after the 24 hours, you can still watch it. We do about 2 to 3 articles a week, favorite apps that we use, summary of different training, playlists on the different videos, so you can see what are the ones that are just about Instagram. And one of the big things about it is that there's a separate support ticket system. So when you're like, hey, how do I get emojis? Or, hey, I can't get this to work. Or why is that? My adventure team is basically your adventure team. So if you're not using it, you need to use it, because they're there. And like, I'll tell you, the person who logs in the most and sends us questions is this guy, right? So what I love, like, to me, being humble doesn't mean saying, oh yeah, I'm not good at anything. What it means is I have the willingness to learn, and I'm teachable. So we have all of those resources available to you, and we have a whole team that works a lot around the clock to help answer support tickets. On average, we are answer them in under an hour right now. I mean, if you do it at 3 in the morning, we get a lot of them within about 8 minutes, depending on some of the time, where somebody says, hey, I have a question. And it's not like, oh, I only get to ask 10 questions. Ask an unlimited amount of questions. If you have a question, it means that you're just pre-asking a question for somebody else. And so a lot of it is that you can search and find the answer there for you, but if you can't find that, we have this whole ticketing system where we have an entire team that's available to you, and that is part of what a lot of people don't understand, that $7.99 a month. Like, it's because you have basically Apple Geniuses, tech support, you basically have your own social media concierge for $8 a month, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, so I wanted to use a little bit of time to say, hey, and the person who helps run that day-to-day is Aaron, and he's on the boat to help you. I'm here. If you want to put even like, hey, I got 20 of my team, can you do a quick thing on some? Yeah, just get with him and we'll work together on that. On posting, the one thing I want to tell you is this. The number of times to post a day. Here's what I would say is, how many of you reached for your smartphone within 15 minutes of waking up this morning? Everybody. You checked, does the Wi-Fi still not work? So within 15 minutes, you reach for your smartphone. So you need to have a post that is kind of a good morning motivational post within 15 minutes of when that rock star is waking up. Okay? Then, what's the next natural time? Some of you post at 10 o'clock. You just wasted your post. Post at 2 in the afternoon. You wasted your post. That's when I run errands. Why? Because the only people that are there are also home watching People's Court, and the same people advertising to them are slip and fall lawyers. Think about it. When slip and fall lawyers are posting and advertising, that's when you probably don't want to post. Because the people that are rock stars on your team, they're generally busy during those times, right? So another time to post is towards the end of their lunch hour. You'll get a little bump, we call it the car line bump, where it's like that 45 minutes to an hour to wait in car line, but many of them are working jobs. You'll get a little bit before and after dinner. Then 9 o'clock is essentially, why? Because that's when generally their kids have gone to bed. And they have about 2 hours that they'll spend. But realize that especially a younger audience, that goes up to about 1 in the morning. Okay? So Instagram, like by about 11 o'clock on Facebook, it starts to wind down. Instagram is solid all the way up till 1 a.m. when you start to go under, and if you think about it, here's what I want you to start to think of. Why? Think about that rock star on your team. What is their schedule? If you're posting about stuff when they have to be at work and they're not allowed to be on their phones, like, yeah, well, they'll eventually see it. No, they won't see it. Because if you posted at 2, by the time they see it at dinner, their score in that ranking of that post went way, way down. And so now not as many people are liking and commenting it, and it's just essentially not showing up. So people are like, oh, people aren't seeing my post. Exactly. Because you're not thinking about that rock star. Okay? What you'll also find is that, first of all, 70% of everybody on Instagram right now is outside of the United States. And I believe it is 80% is under the age of 30. Okay? So what you'll find is, when I use the example of how many people reach for your smartphone, I started asking how many people have the phone as your alarm clock. A lot of people start raising their hand. I said, how many people actually is in the bed with you? Hands start to go down, but what you'll find is that essentially under 30, they raise their hands. Their phone is in the bed, like literally, the last thing is it hits their face because you fell asleep and you're looking. But I want you to think about this, because I want you to think about this person. I want you to think about this person. The first thing that they do when they wake up is they grab their phone and they looked at Instagram. The last thing that they did was they were on Instagram. So, you have to look at the times that they are awake. One of the things is so think about that with your posting, okay? The fifth area is what we call churn. A lot of people, there's discussions. So are you saying we shouldn't follow a bunch of people and unfollow a bunch of people? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is everybody needs to exercise something that's called churn, where social media companies are actually rewriting code to try to shut you down, and they will eventually shut you down, is because they don't like aggressive churn. And so it's called ACR, aggressive churn ratio. And what they're wanting to do is just cut down on the number of people that you can follow. Now, a lot of you are like, well, I don't want that. I want to be able to follow as many people as I want, so that everybody else can follow as many people as I want. You understand, like, if everybody got to just do that, the whole network and the whole community would shut down. And you say, well, I wouldn't do it that way. Then go invent Facebook, because they're a privately held company. It's not your inalienable right to be able to have it. They can do whatever they want. They're advertising. They're a for-profit company. We get to use their free service to make lots of money. We can either fight with them, or we can understand how they work with people who have inside information about how it works, right? And then give you principles that are going to help you win over anybody else. So, do you want churn? Yes. In Instagram, they're going to lock that down. In Facebook, it's about the same. But in Instagram, you got about 168 transactions per hour, so that's why if you try to follow a bunch of people and unfollow, it will slow you down. If you try to add too many people or message too many people all at once, you'll get put in Facebook jail. But let's think about it. Can you have a thoughtful relationship by trying to meet 100 people? Right, so if I said, hey, there's 100 of you, we're going to meet, I'm going to put all your names, and I'm just going to say the same thing to 100 of you, and okay, then the next hour that I'm going to do it, I'm not developing a relationship, okay? Now, if you have more time in your day, you can add more to this number. But on Facebook, there are ways to follow people properly, okay? So I know how some people do it. They're going to somebody, and they're looking at their friends list. So the one thing, we're actually working on something right now, by the way. It's like a social media starter kit for, because when we first created the 100-Day Adventure, some people have been in for 5 years and some people for 5 minutes. So we're kind of giving you principles. We're actually developing a tool right now so that when somebody first joins, it gives them a 10-day, do this, then this, then this, then this. Like one of the things is, so that's go. And seriously, like feedback is my, like whiteboards and feedback are my love languages. So, like if you have ideas or thoughts, like we have a section in adventure support for that, but come talk to us about what you'd like to see. But it's literally going to go through like the 100-day, but it'll be a 10-day video series that just says, okay, this is what you need to do. Do this, and then you do this, and then you do that. So make sure that you set your friends list to private, right? Because that's important to do. But what I would say is just going to somebody's friends list and going and randomly adding them, and you see that they have maybe like 2 or 3 mutual friends. If you start learning about the Facebook algorithm, what did you just